The warning ignored far beyond the bright blue skies of Earth. In the deep silence of space, many alien races sent out a desperate message. Their voices trembled with fear and hope. They begged the great galactic empire to stop a growing danger. But the empire, proud and full of power, did not listen. It ignored the warnings. It thought itself strong and unbreakable. On Earth, in a large command center filled with blinking lights and soft hums of machines, the humans watched the stars carefully. Commander David and his team listened to strange signals from the far corners of space. The signals were weak, but full of meaning. Alien races were calling for help. They wanted the Empire to hear them and act before it was too late. But the Empire was silent. David knew this was not a small problem. The Empire had ruled many star systems for centuries. It was strong, but even strong empires could fall. The alien messages showed something terrible was coming, something that could destroy planets and stars. Yet the Empire's leaders sat in their tall towers, ignoring the pleas. "Why does the Empire not care?" asked Sarah, a young scientist sitting beside David. Her eyes were full of worry. David shook his head slowly. "They believe they are untouchable. They think no one can challenge their rule." Outside the command center, Earth's skies seemed peaceful, but inside, tension grew. David's team worked day and night to understand the alien messages. They sent their own signals in return, asking for more details. One message came back clearly. The aliens wanted Earth's help. The message said, "Stop the destruction. Stop the Empire before it is too late." David felt a chill. The aliens were begging for mercy. Yet the Empire did nothing got far away. In the cold halls of the Galactic Empire's capital, Emperor Vorik sat on his throne. He was a tall man with a hard face and eyes that burned like fire. His generals reported the alien pleas, but he waved them away. "Let them cry," he said. "Humanity and these weak aliens cannot stop us. Our power is absolute. We will crush any who stand in our way." But not everyone in the Empire agreed. General Corrin, one of the oldest leaders, looked worried. He had seen many wars and knew the cost of ignoring danger. "Your Majesty," Corrin said quietly, "these aliens are desperate, and humans. They are not like the others. We should listen carefully." The Emperor only smiled coldly. "Corrin, you fear too much. The galaxy will bow to us. Humans are a small part of this grand design." Back on Earth, David prepared for the worst. He gathered the best scientists, engineers, and soldiers. They began readying their warships, training in secret. Humanity had a plan, one hidden from the rest of the galaxy. Sarah looked at the stars again and whispered, "We must be ready. If the Empire ignores this warning, it will face a fury it cannot imagine." Days passed. Alien refugees arrived near Earth, carrying stories of destruction and fear. Their worlds were burning, their people dying. They begged humans to protect them. David welcomed the refugees, promising safety and hope. But he knew the real test was coming soon. One night, while Earth's command center was quiet, alarms suddenly blared. A small scout ship sent an urgent message. Empire warships were moving closer to the refugee planet. David's heart raced. The Empire was coming to crush the aliens, and humanity's secret plan would be tested. He stood up and looked at his team. "This is our moment. We cannot fail." The camera pans out from Earth, showing vast fleets of warships moving silently through space. The stars seem to hold their breath as the galaxy waits. And deep inside a hidden human warship, a countdown begins. The warning was ignored, but humanity was ready. The calm before the storm. The stars outside the windows of Earth's command ship glowed quietly. But inside, tension filled the air. Commander David stood before the glowing holographic map of the galaxy. The Empire's fleet was still far, but moving fast. The alien refugees huddled in safe zones nearby, their faces pale and eyes wide with fear. Sarah, the scientist, joined. "David, we don't have much time. The Empire's warships will reach the refugees in hours." David nodded. "They think they can crush us easily, but they don't know what humans are capable of." On the bridge, the crew worked in perfect silence, their fingers flying over controls. Each moment was precious. David knew the coming battle would not just decide the fate of the refugees, but the future of the entire galaxy. Meanwhile, the Empire fleet's commanders laughed. Admiral Velos stood tall on his flagship bridge, surrounded by officers who shared his confidence. "The humans hide behind their weak alien friends," Velos sneered. "Their fleets are small and scattered. This will be a quick victory." But among them, a young officer looked uneasy. "Sir, intelligence reports strange. New weapons on the human ships. Something we have never seen before." Velos waved him off. "We will break them like we have broken others. Prepare to engage." Back on Earth's ship, David's mind raced. He remembered the lessons from history. Pride often blinded the strong. The Empire's arrogance could be their weakness. He turned to Sarah. "We can't just wait. We need to strike first." Sarah hesitated. "But if we attack too soon, we risk everything. The refugees are not ready for war." David smiled grimly. "Then we make them ready. Humanity never waits for the perfect moment. We create it." In the refugee camps, alien leaders gathered secretly. They looked at the humans with hope and fear. One elder, tall and thin with silver skin, spoke softly. "Your people fight like storms. We pray you do not destroy us in the process." David visited the camp, standing among the trembling aliens. "We will protect you," he promised, "but you must be ready to fight too." Whispers spread quickly. Humans were not just rescuers. They were warriors. They trained the refugees, teaching them simple tactics and survival skills. Fear slowly turned into determination. Suddenly, the quiet was broken by a sharp alarm. A scout ship returned, breathless with news. "Empire ships have entered the system," the pilot reported. "They are heading straight for the refugee planet." David's eyes narrowed. "Then we move now. All hands prepare for battle." On the command bridge, the crew strapped into their stations. Outside, massive warships darkened the stars, engines humming with deadly power. Sarah looked at the human warships, each one armed with new, unknown technology. "They won't expect this," she said. David took a deep breath. "This is just the beginning. The galaxy will soon learn why humans never give up." As the ships moved closer to the refugee planet, silence fell again, a calm before the storm. The galaxy held its breath, and somewhere deep inside Earth's secret warship, the lights dimmed, revealing a hidden weapon ready to awaken. Asterisk. First blood. The quiet of space shattered like glass. Suddenly, bursts of light exploded near the refugee planet. The Empire's warships had arrived, and they were ready to fight. Commander David stood on the bridge of the human flagship, eyes sharp as he watched the battle unfold on the holographic display. The Empire's fleet was bigger, but the humans had something they did not expect: fierce determination and new secret weapons. The first shots were fired. Plasma beams sliced through the darkness. The Empire's ships moved with practiced precision, confident in their strength. But the humans fought back with surprising speed and skill. Sarah leaned forward, voice tense. "Their shields are holding." "For now," David nodded. "We can't let them take the planet. Not today." Suddenly, from the shadows of a smaller moon, a squadron of fast human fighters appeared. They darted between the Empire ships like lightning too quick to target. The Empire officers stared in shock. "What are these ships? How do they move like that?" David smiled grimly. "That's our secret. The battle raged, but then something unexpected happened. One of the human warships launched a new weapon, a pulse of energy that tore through the Empire's shield like paper. The flagship of the Empire faltered, sparks flying from its hull. "Impossible," growled Admiral Velos, gripping his console. How could humans have such power? The human warship pressed its advantage, firing again and again. The Empire fleet began to break apart, retreating in chaos. Back on the refugee planet, alien eyes filled with hope and fear. The humans had taken the first blood, but the war was far from over. David turned to his crew, voice steady. "This is just the start. We showed them humanity's strength today, but they will come back harder." Sarah added, "The Empire's pride will make them dangerous." As the Empire fleet disappeared into the darkness, a strange transmission reached David's console. "This is only the beginning. You have awakened a storm you cannot control." David looked at Sarah, a silent promise in his eyes. "Let them come. We are ready." Empire's retaliation, the Empire's defeat near the refugee planet, shook the throne room in their capital. Emperor Vorik slammed his fist on the marble table, eyes blazing with fury. His voice thundered through the grand hall. "How dare humans challenge us? This insult cannot stand." General Corrin stepped forward, calm but firm. "Your Majesty, they have new weapons and fierce will. We must prepare carefully." Vorik sneered. "Prepare? No, we will crush them. Send the full fleet. Leave nothing behind. Let humanity feel the full weight of our power." The Empire's war machine roared back to life. Thousands of warships assembled like a storm, ready to burn through anything that stood in their path. Far from the Empire's capital, David watched the new fleet approaching through Earth's command ship windows. The vastness of the Empire's forces filled the dark space, countless ships like stars coming to swallow the light. Sarah's fingers flew over her console. They brought everything they have. This is no longer a small fight. This is war. David clenched his jaw. "We fight for those who cannot fight themselves. We stand for freedom." The humans and alien refugees worked side by side, building defenses on the refugee planet and preparing their fleets. The aliens looked at humanity with growing respect, inspired by their courage. One elder whispered, "Humans carry the fire of hope." Suddenly, the calm was shattered by a warning. The Empire fleet entered firing range. Missiles screamed through space, explosions lighting up the void. The battle was fierce. The Empire's ships fired heavy lasers and missiles, trying to crush humanity's defenses. But the humans fought back with clever tactics. Small fighter groups flanked the larger Empire ships. Hidden drone swarms disrupted enemy weapons. The refugees fought alongside their protectors, their fear turning into fierce courage. David led a strike team deep into the battle, targeting the Empire's command ship. The enemy was strong, but humanity's resolve was stronger. Inside the enemy flagship, chaos spread. Officers shouted orders, but confusion grew. The Empire was not used to fighting such determined enemies. David's voice echoed through his ship's speakers. "Hold fast. For freedom. For the galaxy." As the battle raged, a secret human weapon activated a pulse that scrambled the Empire's communication systems. The fleet lost coordination, falling into disarray. The Empire's attack faltered. Back on the refugee planet, aliens cheered as human ships repelled the enemy fleet. The impossible was happening. But deep inside the Empire's capital, Emperor Vorik's rage only grew. "They will pay," he hissed. "No one defies the Empire and lives." David looked at the stars beyond Earth's orbit, knowing the war was far from over. But humanity had shown its strength, and the galaxy was watching. Asterisk. The turning point the battle had lasted weeks, but neither side gave up. The Empire's massive fleet was battered and worn, but still dangerous. Humans and alien refugees stood firm, their hope growing stronger every day. One night, deep in enemy space, a daring human strike team sneaked aboard an Empire flagship. Commander David led the team quietly through dark halls, avoiding guards with skill and patience. Their goal was clear: find the Empire's secret plans. In a hidden chamber, they discovered a data crystal. David inserted it into their device and watched as images and files flooded the screen. The truth was worse than anyone imagined. The Empire planned to enslave the alien races forever. Their fleets were not just for war, they were tools of control and cruelty. David's eyes hardened. This changes everything. We must warn the galaxy and unite all who oppose this tyranny. Back on the refugee planet, David shared the secret with alien leaders. Shock and anger filled the room. The fragile alliance became a powerful force, bound by a shared desire to stop the Empire's evil. But the Empire was not blind. Emperor Vorik sensed betrayal within his own ranks. One of his trusted generals secretly met with humans, offering to help in exchange for freedom. David met the traitor in a hidden cave. The general handed over secret codes and fleet movements. This could end the war, David said quietly. But trust is dangerous. The traitor nodded. I have lost faith in the Empire. Help us build a better future. With new allies and secret knowledge, humanity and their friends planned a daring attack on the Empire's capital planet, the heart of their power. But the Empire fought back hard. Suspicion and fear ran through their ranks. Spies and traps waited for the human fleet. The galaxy watched with bated breath. The war was about to reach its climax. David stood before his fleet. We fight not just for victory, but for freedom. For every voice silenced by the Empire, this is our moment. The human ships ignited their engines, ready to break through the darkness. And deep within the shadows, a new player watched someone even more powerful, waiting for the right time to strike. The final strike. The cold darkness of space was pierced by the roar of engines. Humanity's fleet, united with alien allies and traitors from the Empire, raced toward the Empire's capital planet. This was the moment everyone had waited for, the final strike to end centuries of tyranny. Commander David stood on the bridge of the flagship, his eyes locked on the swirling storms of the enemy planet below. The Empire's forces had gathered in massive numbers, but they were disorganized, shaken by betrayal and fear. Sarah's voice broke the silence. Their defenses are strong, but our secret weapon is ready. David nodded. Then let's show them what humanity means. Suddenly, the space around the fleet exploded with fire. The Empire launched everything they had, from laser cannons to suicide drones. The battle was brutal and fast. Ships collided, and stars blinked out in flashes of destruction. But the humans moved with calm precision. Their fighters darted through the chaos, striking hard and disappearing before the enemy could react. Ground forces prepared to land, ready to take the fight to the planet's surface. In the heart of the battle, David led a small strike team toward the Empire's command center. Their mission was clear: capture the leaders and end the war. Inside the dark halls of the command center, alarms screamed. Emperor Vorik watched the chaos with growing fear. They were stronger than I thought, he growled. But this is not over. David and his team fought through guards and traps. Every step was dangerous, but they pushed forward with fierce determination. Finally, they reached the throne room. The Emperor stood tall, but his face was pale. You think you have won? He spat. This is just the beginning. David raised his weapon, steady and strong. This is the end of your empire. With a final powerful strike, the war ended. The Emperor's rule shattered, and the galaxy breathed a long-awaited sigh of relief. Outside, the stars shone brighter than ever, as if welcoming a new dawn. But David knew this victory was only the start of a new journey. Humanity had awakened something powerful, not just in war, but in hope and unity. Asterisk revenge and new dawn, the war was over. The once mighty empire lay broken, its leaders captured or fled into hiding. The stars that had once trembled under its shadow now shone with a new light, a light of freedom and hope. Commander David stood on the bridge of the flagship, looking out at the galaxy he had helped change. Around him, alien leaders gathered, their faces soft with relief and gratitude. The elder with silver skin stepped forward. "You saved us all. Humanity has not only brought war, but also peace." David smiled quietly. "We fought because we had to. But now, it is time to build, not destroy." On many planets, celebrations erupted. Freed alien races danced under new suns, their voices rising in songs of thanks. Humans and aliens alike began working together, creating a new alliance founded on justice and respect. But even in victory, David knew the road ahead would be long. Old wounds would take time to heal, and new challenges would come. He turned to Sarah. "The galaxy is watching us now. We must be the protectors, the guardians of peace." Sarah nodded. "And the Empire's shadow may rise again, but humanity will be ready." A new council formed, led by humans and alien allies. They promised to guard the galaxy against tyranny, to listen to every voice, and to never forget the lessons of the past. As Earth's flagship prepared to leave the capital planet, David took one last look at the stars. Somewhere in the darkness, unknown threats waited. But humanity had changed the game. The galaxy had awakened a new force, one that would never back down. The sun rose over Earth, casting golden light across the horizon. It was the dawn of a new era, and humanity stood ready. Asterisk.